I'm so excited, like I say every single week, but I'm really excited to introduce you guys to our girl Stephanie. Stephanie Wall is a passionate speaker, author, and personal development coach. She is committed to advocating for women survivors of trauma. As a community change agent who served in law enforcement for over 20 years, she also has a master's degree in business and organizational leadership. She is a certified coach. She uses empathy and action oriented attitude to help people combat life's challenges and inspire entrepreneurs to set their mindsets for success. As a result of her devotion to help women, Stephanie created Speaker Stephanie, a personal development brand, bridging her passion and career. I'm so excited for you guys to hear more about Stephanie and her story and how she is helping women all across the nation really change their mindsets and build amazing businesses. So let's get right into this conversation.
Hey, Stephanie, we're excited. We got to know you a little bit in that bio, and I know all of our listeners are like, okay, now dig in. Let's get to know her.
Yes, I'm excited to have Stephanie on the show. Finally, she's interviewed us on her platform, and we're so thankful. We're like, yeah, no, we got to have you on the A&O show. Like, this is obviously the place to be. So we got to get, these amazing women on this to, for you guys to know about them and learn and grow all of our businesses. So yeah, we're excited to have you on today.
Yes.
Thank you. I was like, wait, I'm on the A&O, like, show.
Yes.
I'm feeling like a bona fide celebrity, right? But let me see, look, I always thought I was super bad, but then once I got the invite, I said, I may have went up. I've elevated. So, look, everybody is still talking about the two of you. In fact, we had Courage on yesterday, and I had to even mention you all. I was like, because I wanted them to understand where they may have already seen her when if they've been following you guys, and they have been just like I do. So thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Y'all just you guys just don't know how much you bless me and all of the folks that follow me. So thank you. I honor you both.
Yes.
Well, we're excited to do the same because you have, I feel like this like secret sauce, right? To really help so many. So we're going to dig into that. I want you, Stephanie, tell us who you are and what you really do in a nutshell. Coming from your mouth is what we're excited to hear.
All right. So listen, my friends call me Top sometimes. They call me Top as in the TOP, the Tower of Power. I believe it has everything to do with it. I'm 5'10". I got a big smile and a big personality. If you didn't know it, you will know it by the end of this recording, this session. But let me tell you, my name is Stephanie Wall. I am the CEO of Speaker Stephanie LLC. I teach women. I help women to overcome barriers to their self-esteem, to basically love themselves again. I help aspiring entrepreneurs with mindset. So I'm about the women. I'm all about the women. So I am a retired, after 20 years of law enforcement, I retired and I took my degree. I took my coaching certificates. I took all of who I am, put it all together, and I put it toward my passions. And thus I created Speaker Stephanie LLC, which is keynoting, coaching, and author. So you write books, you talk to people, use your gifts. I use my gifts to help women to overcome their barriers.
Girl, I love that is powerful.
I mean, first of all, these people need to know about you for sure. So I know you're telling us like where you are now, but you wrote an amazing book about your journey to this place, right? So can you give us, without telling us too much, because we definitely want our viewers to go and purchase your book so they can read more about you. You have actually one of your books about your actual life story. You're doing a second edition, and hint, hint, I'm involved.
So just a big way.
I know, like when we first talked, and she was talking about her her book and the way she spoke about it. And I was like, she was like, yeah, I had this book and people still love it, but I'm just not happy about how it looks and kind of how it reads. And I'm like, well, let's just do it again. Like, there's so many books out there that have second and third edition. And I literally blew her mind with that. She was like, what? Wait, what?
Right. I was like, listen, I was, when she said it, I was like this, like, what? Like, it was like a thing? That's a thing? And but more importantly, people love that book. I was looking at the analytics. You gotta look at the analytics. And I learned that. I want you all to know I didn't know about the analytics. You have to learn. That's why you need a coach. But it's a whole nother talk show. And I didn't know about the analytics. And once I looked at him, I was like, that book is still going strong. But here's the deal: we grow. And when I look at the feedback, right, the testimonies that folks talk about, the reviews rather. Some of them was like, it's missing something, or she didn't finish something. And I realized when you do something, there's no such thing as a failure, right? It's just a little test, a little something you tried. Look, only failure is the thing you've never tried, but you've been thinking about. That's a fail. Because you're wasting time, energy. And you know what? More importantly, that's probably something God put in there and you didn't follow through. So
yeah,
that's a whole other talk show too. But I will tell you, imagine, I love to tell everyone this thing because this is my truth. I, like so many people, and particularly women that I coach, that I come in contact with, we've all experienced trauma. According to psychology today, according to the U.S., in the United States, 1 out of every 3 people, not even just women, 3 people will experience trauma in their lifetime. In my case, usually when I'm talking to folks, I start out my speech by telling them that domestic violence almost took my life, and now I'm called to save yours.
Wow.
Yeah.
I had that part that, yes, I'm a survivor. I am a survivor. I'm victorious.
Yes.
But I wasn't always this comfortable in my skin, and I would never have told anybody that. I just thought that it happened. I'm never going to talk about it. Nobody ever knows it. And put it back there. But how many of you know that everything you put back there and you try to push it down, as I like to call it, in the sunken place, will come back and wreak havoc on your life in a way that you'd be like, it would probably be better just to tell the truth.
Wow. Yeah.
Than to try to live with that. That's a lie, because really you're living a lie if you're not really telling the truth, right?
Right.
And so in my case, ladies, there I was. I'm sitting in a young police officer, Stephanie. Sitting in the room,
wow.
My little secret is my secret.
Wow.
Until I was in a training and one of my friends started talking. And I was like, why is she here? And she started talking because she was the speaker of the hour. And she started telling about living through domestic violence. And I didn't even know that I had a trigger.
Wow.
And I used to call myself Stephanie Wall. I'm getting it all. That was that's what I called myself, because I was happy. At least I was happy as long as that story stayed back there.
Yeah.
But this person standing in front of me talking made me feel like I was butterball naked, sitting in a room full of men who also were professionals.
Wow.
And I'm sitting in the center, because you got to be in the middle, right? I want to pay attention. And if you've ever been a speaker, you really hate it when people are not listening. So I'm listening. So I'm sitting in the center, I'm listening, and she started talking, and this triggered, I don't know, I'm having it's just coming. And next thing you know, I'm here, and I'm here, and I'm here, and I have no tissues, because who knew they was going to be crying?
Wow.
Now it was already a thing, because I was already wondering why the room was full of people. Like, why are all these instructors in the back of the room? No, the day is over. We've been on training. This is the last thing of the day. Why are they still here? Like, matter of fact, why are they in the back of the room? They're in the back of the room because they know that there's going to be some reactions, and they're there as support. But these people know me. They know me, and they know my current husband. So imagine this. I'm sitting there, I'm crying. I'm uncontrollable. I'm looking at the door, I'm looking at her, I'm looking at the door, I'm looking at her. And finally, I got the nerve to run out of the room into the bathroom. And I'm in the bathroom having a whole conversation with myself about this thing, because I got to go back in the room. I've got to go back. Literally, Stephanie, you've got to go back in the room. They're going to think he's doing something. They're going to think he's doing something to you. I mean, I'm having a whole. Now you can imagine. I ran in the bathroom and scanned the whole bathroom real quick, like make sure nobody was in there. And I know the security guard, I ran past going to the bathroom, probably for what the heck, when I came out and walked past them with a whole handful of tissues, because I'm gonna woman up. I'm going back in that room.
Yes.
I go back in the room and I get myself back together about a second, and I'm crying again. But I want you to know that situation caused me to have to face myself, face my truth. And because of that one thing, which made me get the help that I needed to get, because, here's the deal. When I experienced it, I did go see a therapist. But, we think, okay, I'm feeling better now. How many of you have had some type, I don't know, you need to get some medication, and it has 30 pills in the bottle. Day 3, 4, you're feeling pretty good. And you don't finish all that medication.
Yep.
And whatever you're dealing with come rolling back, because the doctor said you got to finish every last pill in there. Well, I didn't finish all my therapy. Wow. So I felt like, in my community, right? You feeling okay? Let's not talk about it. Keep it moving. And so I wrote a book about it, because my therapist said, do you journal? But that's the one thing that I did. I journaled, and my journal became a book.
Girl. Wow. All right.
I'm going to tell you, it was tough. I tell folks, listen, I've always heard that. I've learned now. I've learned this. I've heard it said several thousand different ways, but I love this way Dr. Cheryl says it. It says that your story is about you, but it's not for you. And once you recognize that, but I know by telling my truth frees everyone. I mean, I'm talking men, women, everyone that has read this book says the same thing, that this book should be, but this book should be in the hands of every woman, man, and every young girl.
Yeah.
And so then I told Olivia about this book. And she was like, and she was like, wait a minute, because we talked about this when we were in Paris. And then she read it. She was like, Stephanie, you need to just read this book.
Yeah, because a lot of times people think they need to move on, I need to do something different. But it's like, if that book is the book that is right now helping people break free or break through these chains, why not give this book a new life? Because people are, I know now with the times COVID, so many people are just, stuck home with sometimes their abusers or things of that nature. So people need this book now more than ever. So, like you said, you wrote it a while ago, and why not just kind of relaunch and give this book new life? Because I feel like it's really going to set people free and really help people. So let's just get it up to date and, add a little bit more to it to make it, that everything that you want it to be. And yeah, let's do it. So I'm like, there's no need to write a new book. We already got one. We already got a good foundation.
Literally, like 2 comments or reviews that stuck out was one. Well, actually, folks have said this too, because I did go out and do book clubs, and it just was amazing. The first thing I have to overcome is people seeing me. It's kind of hard for folks to wrap their head around the person they're looking at is the same person in the story. I cannot believe that. Right? But and of course, everybody wants to know, one person wrote, okay, I need to know more about those pink ladies in the book, right? I want to hear more about the pink ladies. And then there are several people that was like, I really would like to know how you doing now. How are you doing now?
Oh, yes. Yes. Yeah. I love that.
So we had to wrap that up. Yeah. It's an educational piece. It's a lot of information. You writing the first time. I mean, listen, your book is everybody has a story.
Yep.
And your story, you can either choose. It's not everybody's story is not meant to be told, right? But some portion of your story, I guarantee there's somebody out there right now thinking that they're the only ones going through it. And
100%.
Yeah. And they can't get on the other side of it. They need it. And look, I mean, in my case, I swear to you, woman after woman after, I can almost, if I'm speaking in large crowds, I can almost pick out who is going to keep me by that stage. You first come down the steps and you can never get out of there. Somebody will keep me right there. And they're going to tell me, you were telling my story. So that is
Well,
what it is.
I'll have to.
That's it. And it's called How My Part-Time Job Saved My Life.
I
A
love
True
it.
Story of Overcoming.
Wow.
You'll see it.
Yes. We'll definitely have that down below in the description and the show notes. So make sure you guys get a copy of that ASAP. So obviously you've written a book. And I've been in clubhouse rooms with you. I've heard you on your platform speaking to other people. So if you could tell, if your customers or your clients, if you could really give them 3 books that you're like, you have to read this. Obviously, we have your book. So give us 2 more books that you're like, you have to read this book. Like, this book changed the way I think, the way I live, the way I, do whatever. What are 2 books that really you wish that every one of your clients would read?
Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
Okay. Yes.
Psycho-Cybernetics by Max Waltz.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Right. And I was like, at first my company was like, Cybernet. Come on now, y'all. Now listen, that name is giving me a headache. Right. This is the devil. I was like, that am I gonna be able to read the book? And then when I bought it, it was like this. But I will tell you that it was a great, I quote it often. So of course, anything that says if Stephanie Wall wrote it, I think you need to read it, right? But I will tell you that I'm the co-author in a couple other books, but I will tell you that Courageous Enough to Launch, and the visionary for that one is Dr. Sherwood, but I am one of the co-authors and the contributors in the book. That the book is so many stories of women, but they're different. You go from everything from domestics to just growing, everything. You can think about any trauma that can be experienced by a woman is written in that book. I say read that book because you need to see your story.
Yes.
You need to see that, because every woman in that book experienced something and they were courageous enough to launch, and many of them, all of them, have launched a business.
I love it. Wow.
So so many of us are sitting on our dreams. I think, matter of fact, I know Les Brown says that most people are not living their dreams because they're so busy living their fears.
Yeah, no, that's facts. Wow.
Yeah, no, that's the truth. Like, people get so afraid of what's gonna happen or what's not gonna happen that they just sit in that, right? They just sit in it. Like, no, just do something. Get yourself a coach or get yourself someone who can help you pass, some of the hurdles that you may come against. But, every business has its ebbs and its flows. Right. So you're not, it's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be better than not having anything at all.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Stephanie, I have to ask you, like, where would you say somebody's listening now and this is a trigger for them? They're listening. They're like, oh my gosh, I had no clue this was going to come up with me listening or hearing or watching this podcast. What do they do now? Right? Where do they actually go? Like, let's just imagine they're in their car and they're like, now where do I go? Right. How do I find Stephanie? How do I ask questions? Yes.
So to find me on every platform is always Speaker Stephanie. It's Speaker Stephanie something, Speaker Stephanie Wall, Speaker Stephanie W. But you can always go to speakerstephanie.com and that takes you right to me.
Okay, perfect.
SpeakerStephanie.com, you connect them to me automatically.
Women are afraid. I know we just said that. They live in fear of whatever, launching anything they want to do, but they also live in fear of they don't know who they can actually confide in when it comes to sharing some trauma like this. And you were obviously in that same situation. You just talk about you were sitting in that room and you were like, I'm keeping this deep. Nobody even knows what I'm dealing with or going through, and they will never know, right? You kept it so deep. And so women just go like, actually, if I go talk to this girl, if I go talk to my neighbor, if I go talk to a family member, there's probably going to be a lot of judgment. There's going to be confusion. There's going to be maybe anger towards me because they think it's my fault. Like, that's a whole realm of emotion. And then they don't get it because someone that's not been in a situation like that, I mean, it doesn't even have to be a spouse. It can be any type of trauma.
Sure.
They can't relate to it. So what do you feel like is the best thing for a woman to go like, okay, yes, find me, connect with me, but really what do they ultimately need? You know what I mean? What does that look like?
So I'm going to tell you that with everything, with whether it's domestics or anything else, we have to make a choice, right?
Okay.
And once we decide, once a decision is made, they say if a woman makes a decision, we right there, bam, it's done. But the thing is, once I made the decision what to do, understand that folks, we're so worried about what people are going to say. People are going to say something. Do you know that people are saying something right now with you not even saying anything? They are, most times when we're experiencing all that, sometimes we hide it very well, but somebody knows, and they're like, somebody is like waiting for you to like say, help, right? For real this time, right?
Yeah.
We've said help, that's what the people that experience the best is they do say help, but we go back.
Yes.
But I want to tell you this. I want you to make a decision. And if you are a woman and you are experiencing what I was experiencing, that means somebody tries to kill you, take your life. Then if you're in your car and you're not with that person, then I want you to drive that car somewhere where you're safe. Make the decision today to get you, if you have children, get you and your children somewhere safe. Matter of fact, in my book, and we'll make sure we'll put it down in the feed, there's a 1-800 number. It's a national number, right? International even. You call that number and they work on a whole plan for you. So for some people, it's easy. Just get in the car and you go. Some people just gather a few things and go. Some people, it's a little bit more difficult because we understand sometimes the person that's causing the abuse may be the breadwinner. They may be holding the keys to the car. It may be a whole lot of other things. But whatever it is, when it's safe for you to do so, I want you to do that. Before you even do that, while you're doing that, you will also speak to somebody. So if you call the 1-800 number, the 188 number, you will speak to someone, a stranger. But if you have a trusted someone, whether it's clergy, a family member, a friend, a friend of me, right? But someone that you feel that you can confide in and that will help you, get on the horn. These days, right now, you can text.
Exactly.
Heck, you can text the police, right? So
you can?
Yes.
Girl, I'm 911 in a second. I'm like, emergency.
Baby, I'll be having the whole conversation he had on a but I want you to make a decision and get yourself somewhere safe. Know that you are enough. Know that it will be better. Know that whatever comes next is better than what you're doing right now.
Yes.
Know that the situation will never change. We cannot change people. People change themselves. And know that it's okay to love yourself and want to love you more.
Yes.
Because it starts with us not loving ourselves. So make those phone calls. If you call me, I promise you, I'm gonna listen. Because sometimes people just need to be heard.
Right.
I'm going to listen. There'll be no judgment. None. Zero. Nada. I'm going to listen. And I'm going to ask you, would you like this information? And then I'm going to give it to you. And then what you choose to do with it, there'll be no judgment, but you'll have the information. Because once you have it, you can't unhave it. Right?
Yes. Well, do you offer something, Stephanie, that people can work with you closely all the time? Because this right here sounds like somebody might need you.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I'm a coach. So, look,
I know. I'm like, girl, they need you all the time, especially when you're in a hard situation. This right here just lifts your spirits. Like there is so much hope because there is an out. Right? Looks different for everybody. But what does that look like to work with you in your mastermind?
So this is the deal. So I want to tell you, I created my mastermind because almost always, most of my clients, if they have a speaker in them, they have a book in them, they have a coach in them, because once you get on the other side, you cannot not go back and help somebody else. So you're going to either tell them about it, write about it, or coach them through it. So I have 2 masterminds. The first one is I teach you how to be the best speaker ever. If you have ever wanted to speak in front of anyone and you're like, oh my goodness, or you've been kind of voluntold, if you have a job, and with this age of now we're all on virtual, and they say, got it, Amber, you're going to present. I want you to present to our supervisor tomorrow. Right? You're like, what? Wait a minute. This is what I do. I put together PowerPoints. This is what I do. I put the present. This is, I have my role. I put things together. I don't present. Well, got it. You're presenting tomorrow, Amber. Right? And that presentation may be the one thing that keeps you, A, your job, or B, helps you to be elevated. Because what's stopping most people from being elevated is not that they don't have the skill, but they lack the one skill that everybody needs to have to be in leadership and to rise, and that's communication. So what I do in my speaker mastermind is teach you how to be not only a great speaker, because there's elements of speaking. Folks tell me, even when I went to training, so I went to the Goat Mountains, I went to Goat Mountain. I went to Les Brown himself and got trained into how to be a speaker. Dr. Cheryl Wood and Lisa Nichols. So if you're going to go. Invest in yourself. That's the name of the word. Invest in yourself. But what I learned from their training from out the gate was almost everybody that wants to be a speaker, somebody told them, you speak very well, or you present very well. Presenting and doing a talk are 2 different things. And I learned that there's elements to the presentation. There's a cadence. There's a way that you drop your voice down. There's a way that you bring your audience in. There's a way that you tell the story and you show the story, right? Those are the things I teach you how to be the most dynamic presenter, the most dynamic person that does a keynote, how to write the keynote. I give you everything I teach you. You lead with it, all the cheat sheets. Only thing you got to do is go do the work.
Wow, that's awesome.
The back office, right? Even, I remember for me, it was like, okay, I know how to do it now. How do I respond when somebody says, okay, so you're a speaker. So what are your fees? How do you do a proposal?
If y'all are listening from the podcast, you have to go to YouTube and look at Stephanie's facial expressions. This is great.
It's crazy. And even that, but even that, so I am an ambivert, right? I'm an extrovert, introvert. When I'm out, I can be very extroverted. But when I'm home and when I'm finished with our thing and I shut it down, I'm an introvert. I enjoy my downs. I have to be away from people. Too much people time can be too much, right? Mm-hmm. But you got to know when to let that thing out, and and you also have to know how to deal with fear. We're gonna feel it, jump on out there with it, and use it to your advantage. And engage your audience. If I was on here now, I'd be telling you to put that in the chat. I'll be giving you. We would be all into it. You would think you were here in this room with me, and that is what you have to learn how to do. Especially since we don't know when we're gonna stop being online, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm. So that is what the mastermind. So what there's one is specifically, I call it Speaker Speak.
Love it. I love it.
And Speaker Speak begins in May. It's 4 weeks. 4 weeks, and guaranteed the first week you'll be like, okay, now don't be like the folks with the pill bottle and feel real good, and you say, well, I ain't got to come back for the rest of the 3 weeks, because you won't have everything you need. Man, you need all the ingredients in the cake, or you have flat cake. Now it'll be a brick, right? So we want cake, not cornbread, right? Because cornbread is thicker.
Exactly.
As Courage said last night, I thought which was hilarious. I'm going to quote it. So Courage Molina first said this, but today Stephanie's doing a different rendition of it. She said, I asked her, what do you do with folks when, you're offering them the opportunity, and they really need it and they really want it, but they don't, they like, well, they don't want it. She said, listen, sometimes I am offering grits, but for real, they want cream of wheat. She ain't hating on the eggs. I said, that's hilarious. I said, well, really? So I don't like grits. So what I'm selling here is cream of wheat. So if you don't want to be a speaker and you don't want to be dynamic and you've never failed, you've never conducted a presentation and failed miserably, then maybe you don't need this. But if you want to be a great communicator, and if you want to be able to elevate all of who you are and feel good about who you are, because when you can communicate well, you feel good. That's one less thing you got to worry about. If that is you, the mastermind is for you. 4 weeks to fabulousness. And then after that, if you want to grow, we got something else to help you grow a little further from there.
Girl, I love this. And you know what I love so much about it too is you really broke it down for if your boss called you and said, you need to present and that's not your expertise, you don't know when you're going to be called for that in your position. So be prepared.
Yeah.
Unless you're cool with just like keeping that same position, maybe you won't be let go because they're looking to potentially move you up or move you to another department. And that could be the thing. They're like, let's see if she can handle it. See if she's ready for it. But then too, when you've had trauma and it's like, I feel like I'm by myself. No, you're not by yourself. Share your story because you're going to help somebody else. It's not your story. It's someone else. I'm like, girl,
it's somebody else.
Everybody needs to be taking that mastermind.
I was about to say, this is the thing. That's what I was just about to say is that this is so valuable because everybody, if you're an entrepreneur, you can use it. If you, in corporate America, you can use it. If you got a part-time job, you can use it. If you're trying to build a business, you can use it. I mean, we teach YouTube, and a lot of times why women aren't, confident and comfortable with getting on camera is because they don't know how to communicate effectively. So everybody can really use it. So I love that.
And let me tell you, if you're gonna and oh my gosh, and you all's training is just chat. That's fabulousness, right? So I mean, I've seen a couple of folks on. See, y'all said that we pay for that in the class, but if there is, I was looking on YouTube and I saw a couple of folks. I was like, those people have gone through the A&O training. I love this because they're sharp, they're crisp. I'm looking at their graphics. I'm looking at the way they're presented. I know they have been through it. You can tell, right? And just but here's the deal. How awesome would it be if you got all those tools, you know exactly how to do it. You get ready to be a super bad to the bone YouTuber, but you're afraid to speak. And when you're speaking, this is you. My name is Stephanie, and I'm so excited. So glad that you're here. I have so much to tell you. I'm just I'm going to wear you out with all these so's. Because I have no graphics. I have graphics, but I don't have the confidence to read the content, and it's just gone. Because I'm not comfortable with it and I didn't practice it. I didn't write bullets. I didn't know how to write out my talk. I didn't know to never speak if I'm not making a point and always have a point when I was speaking. Right? But so I'm even be doing that, right? You would be like, okay, if you don't spit that out, Stephanie, right?
I'd be like, come on, click.
It's really a thing. Even though I will tell you that it takes y'all, I'm telling you, I gotta keep pulling this because you know what? These girls, they didn't grow. But anyway, when you are the world, everybody's not everybody's cup of tea. And let me just say this, there is a place for you to be soft spoken. But when you're talking, you're supposed to bring them. If you bring them down with your story, you can't leave them there.
Yeah, you got to bring them up.
You ever went somewhere and somebody told you a story and you're like, oh, look, I came in here, I was happy, and you left and you felt like I need to go. Somebody give me therapy. You needed this because the person left you down. They didn't get, okay, tell me. You're like waiting for them to say, but, you're waiting for the but let me tell you about the God I serve. Give me something. Because I'm sitting on the edge of my seat. As a matter of fact, and even that. Let me just I'm gonna leave y'all with this. I gotta tell you this one tip because I love it. I learned it from Gloria Mayfield Banks. I saw her do it. It was on a training, and I was like, "Ooh, I've been using it ever since." And then I saw somebody else do it, and I was like, did they see it from Gloria too? She told everybody at the end, do me a favor, do me a favor, do me a favor. And she told them to scooch up, scooch up, scooch up, scooch up, scooch up, scooch up to the edge of your seat. Scooch up to the edge of your seat. All right. Now everybody just give me a clap. 2 clap, right? And then she said, now, if anybody asks you how was Gloria Mayfield Banks, you tell them that she had me on the edge of my seat. I have done that from churches to big groups. And everybody is down up to the seat too. And when you tell them that, they laugh. But here's the deal. Just like I just told you who told me to do it, and I told you what I did, I just told you about Gloria Mayfield Banks.
Mm-hmm.
And they will tell you that Stephanie Walls says, you know what she told us? To go down to the edge of the seat. And so it was 2 claps. And then she told us that, and if anybody asks you about Stephanie Wall, tell them that she had me on the edge of my seat. You heard it first here. And if you didn't, you heard it again here.
You know what, Steph, you have to say you sound exactly like Gloria. So if anybody's ever heard her speak or follows her, that sounded identical. I know y'all are best friends. But that right there, I was like, girl, y'all could switch places, right? And I could just be listening to that.
They say, and here's the deal. You know, they say, don't be a copycat. But if you're gonna copy the right cat.
100%. And
if you write, and the fact, and thinking of that, I'm gonna give you all a cybernetic moment here. And I'm always, if you've been in the clubhouse with me, if you're anywhere, you've heard me talk about it. Think about the head. We're going to, for the sake of this example, we'll use a head. Top part is the conscious mind. Lower part is the subconscious mind. But whatever you feed yourself, the subconscious, which is the thing that it takes action. That's where your emotions lie in your subconscious mind. Whatever you feed your subconscious, it tells your conscious mind what to do. If you say your conscious mind said, you know what? I'm going to start my own YouTube channel. You'll go and you'll get the skills, maybe. But when it comes time to go live on my live, right? Your conscious mind going to kick in and say, man, girl, you don't know nothing about this. I mean, I know other people did. I know A&O, but A&O, they are like dynamic. You're not dynamic. I know they trained you, but you can't do it like they do it. I mean, I know that you saw the video and they said it was good, but people are going to talk about you. People, and the whole committee is going to go in because you didn't really believe it. And the reason you didn't believe it because you got a little bit of you got the A&O and you took their class, but you didn't keep on. Because I know you all teach them to keep practicing. And keep being around and stay connected because everybody has a community. If you did any training with A&O and you're not still connected, shame on you. If you got what you were supposed to get and it worked for you, you stay connected to the power source. Remember, stay connected, right? And so I stayed connected. Gloria, for years, was like, Steph, you gotta tell your story. Actually, I wrote my book. Another reason I wrote my book is because her mother, the late Mother Heyward, I used to call I call her Maya Angelou number 2. And she used to say, she used to say things like, Steph, you need to tell your story.
Oh.
And as my husband says, her favorite word was fabulous. So you are fabulous. I'm like, I am. So whenever I was around her, I felt fabulous. And if you hear it enough, then you become fabulous, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I say all that to say that you must make sure that you're feeding your mind and be around the people. If you want to grow in whatever you want to do, find the people that are doing it well, stick with them. Stick with them.
Right.
I'm sticking close. You see, I'm listening. You're going to be like, oh God, it's definitely back again. A&O can't get rid of me. Because
I was going to say the same to you.
Very well. Follow them. I mean, look, YouTube, business, name it. Jewelry, makeup. Listen, y'all. Look at this, y'all. Look at that face, fabulous. If I put some lashes on, y'all be in tears. One probably be up here somewhere, right? But you have to stick with the power source. Stick with the people that are growing and going. If they're talking about what they can't do instead of talking about what they can do, you're in the wrong circle. You would never grow there.
Mm-hmm.
I like to use the analogy, and you guys can stop me if I'm doing too much talking. I do apologize. But I want to tell you, a seed, if you take a seed and you put it anywhere, in a house, in a bathroom, let's say on a sink, it will never grow because it's not going to get what it needs there. It's not buried in a dirty place. It's not going. It needs to be buried. It needs to be in a dirty place. It needs to be in a dark place. It needs to be covered, right? It needs to be covered with things that's feeding into it. It needs to be watered and nurtured. It's not getting that sitting on the linoleum. But you take that same seed, been sitting there for 20 years, and put it in the ground and water it and nurture it. It's going to grow up to be something. It may grow up to be a tree that also gives other people fruit. And I say that because we all see a seed that's not buried, a seed that's not nurtured, does not grow. So be the seed, but be the seed that's in the place where you can get what you need to grow.
Stephanie, girl.
I mean, that's a great way to end it right there.
Yes. I said, I was shaking my head more like I'm in church, girl. I was like, you are preaching. I ain't got nothing else to say because Stephanie did it.
Let the church say.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, that's right. You know, these analogies are everything. Thank you for even putting those into place because it really helps. You know, anybody go, oh my gosh, like a light bulb moment. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, it really breaks it down and puts it into perspective, right? Because when you can tell someone how to do something or why they need to do something, like giving them these examples and visuals are number one, we know that you are a speaker because that is like the key to speaking, right? Breaking it down, giving people visuals. So guys, you already know she's good because she got stories for days.
Baby, and listen.
Illustrations for days. So we love that. So yeah, it was amazing having this opportunity to really talk with you and connect with you, but also share you with our people. Like, I hope you guys listened to this episode and really got something from this. Make sure you follow her on all of her platforms. Make sure you check out her book. You can find out all about her on her website, speakerstephanie.com. Is that correct?
Yep. And when they go there, go there and click and get your freebies. Now you got your pad. Look, all kinds of free. Matter of fact, I ain't even gonna tell you because I want you to go there and get them. You gotta go find it for yourself. There's two things. And listen, you can only get it by going to my website. But when you go there, you'll be blessed. And if I could ever do anything for you, connect with me. I answer my own emails.
Oh, girl, that's power right there. Answer my own emails. Girl, you know what? You got some up moments. That is my own emails. You know what, Stephanie? Wow. You're welcome. I just gave you a product. Cool. Well, you can't get rid of me and Olivia, so we're here. We're connected. I love it. You literally cracked me up. This was the best podcast.
Yes.
Loved it.
I was like, what is y'all, that crazy woman on there? Look, first of all, I gotta come to you all's hometown just for one thing, two things. So I get my face just oh my goodness. It even looked as good since Olivia did my face and beat me all up. Not beat me, like you know maybe it's good. And Paris. But you gotta get clarified. We're just talking about domestics. But I also got to make sure I come there so I can be in the YouTube video, getting my dance on and getting because y'all just be in. I'm like, wait, I'm not living at all because they doing it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, what? I'm coming just for that. Period.
Yes. I love it. Do it.
Yes.
We're gonna plan it.
Thank you. I do thank you. I thank you all for allowing me to be, allowing me an opportunity to come on and talk to your folks because this is the place to be, and you all really are really, really good at what you do. So I appreciate that.
Thank you. Well, everything will be in the description in the show notes, and follow every single one of us because you will also be able to see and follow our story. So you'll be able to connect with Stephanie, at a drop of a dime, and then grab her book because you'll be able to really learn more, and that'll be super inspiring, and have her as your coach in her mastermind coming out in May. And it's 4 weeks, which is super impactful. Finish that bottle of pills, girl. You got it. Right. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.